Hi, Kitbashing. Now, I'm not the biggest kit basher. I've done a couple and I've got a couple of interesting ones lined up, but I thought I will just cover the topic for now. I'm sure there's quite a couple of varieties of categories of kit bashing. The one, starting with, is where you pretty much have no idea what you want to do. You just take a kit and make something out of it, but not the original kit. But you're just going freestyle. And that's what I did with this thing which I was telling you about. So a long time ago they handed out, I thought it was 172, but it's, well, I'm not actually sure now. 100th or 144th, possibly 144th, F111. And everyone had a couple of hours to build it, and I decided to just kit bash a little spaceship looking thing. And that's what I made, which I thought was quite interesting. Just using the whatever was in the kit in a weird way. To make something interesting. I mean, it doesn't have to end up looking sci-fi, but I guess that sort of tends to be what happens. Another category would be where you have a very definite plan, and in this case, two of my projects coming up, one uses a Boeing Vertol helicopter body, and it'll get floats on it, and it'll be some interesting thing with a propeller and almost a little float caravan type of thing. And the other one is the C119 boxcar. Can't remember the proper name now. Which again, I'm using only the body, which is a very nice big wide body with doors at the back, and that's going to get tracks on it. So it's going to be like a sort of a semi-Star Wars looking tracked overlander type of thing. So there I've got a very specific idea using parts from two kits maybe, and although there will be a little bit of freestyle in how they get assembled, I have this picture in my mind of what I want to do. And then I guess another type is where you don't have a particular starting kit in mind. All you know is what you want to make. And you just use pieces of this and pieces of that, but you've got a very definite idea, which is a little bit the opposite of this, where you've got a kit to start with, but no end idea. The other one, you've got an end idea, but no starting kit. Now there's another category of which I also want to do one. This is a very interesting one in that it is actually a real thing. There's no kit of it, and I'm sure there never will be. You can Google this. This is a very interesting little vehicle. A guy on a British Air Force base long ago, some decades ago, I'm guessing this was 70s, I think. I did look at a short write-up on that. I'm not sure if there's a YouTube on it. One of the ground crew workers, I can't remember if he was a fitter and turner or he was actually probably a sheet metal worker, come to think of it. He had a little electric car runabout for the base, and he obtained a Blenheim nose, and he built this car which sort of looks like a Blenheim car. And I would like to build something in 1/24th scale, and I'm going to use a Citroen, 2 or 3 CV kit. And since there's no Blenheim to use for that, I'm simply going to, scratch build the bars and try and recreate that framework and build in the windows onto this car. Very interesting little car. If you haven't heard about that or haven't seen it, the little Blenheim car. And then you could have things like where you've just got leftover pieces from a model. This is the Vampire engine or the Venom engine, 1/32, and you sort of just think up a use for this thing. I mean, obviously sci-fi would be your natural area to gravitate towards, and I want to do something with this. I don't quite have an idea. I mean, one wouldn't even have to use it as an engine. You could have a sort of a sci-fi vertical little tower like that. Another one is what was it? Just slipped my mind now. Nope, that one just disappeared into the abyss. Okay, then I got this. Now you would not think that I'm going to talk about this in Kitbashing, but I recently got this, and the second hand, some guy had, it had passed hands. The guy had started it, and that sort of ended up as a bit of a wreck. Sort of gives you an idea that, a lot of people that start some of these more intricate ship models don't end up finishing them. So this, it's not bad, but it's not great, especially some of the more important parts. There's glue all over that, and it's messed, and there's even glue messed here. But it's not wrecked enough to abandon this, and this can still be put together in a very interesting way. Now this wouldn't quite be a kit bash, although you could, where you're not too serious about getting all the parts in exactly the right places, almost making a little bit of a shipwreck diorama. But what I did want to say is, for kit bashing purposes, the point is now I have tons of little odds and ends that are not really going to make a huge difference whether they were present on a shipwreck or not. And a lot of these things are very, very handy to use on various kit bash ideas. So, something that you would not really have thought of as a kit bash source can actually be pretty valuable. But the best part of that was this. The guy had got a very nice white ensign photo etch set for this. Now here and there I will use some of the rails on some of my other ships, but there's enough pieces on here to use on other projects, whether it be, you could even imagine that some of these parts could be used in the Matador cab to make it look a little bit more realistic and as if there's a little bit of detail in there. But even without doing that, just on a kit bash item, so you give a bit of photo etch on there. And I've got a couple of photo etch sets where I don't have the model for it, and I don't intend to get the model for it. They were just being let go for pretty cheap, and they had some very, very interesting parts in them, which I sometimes use on aircraft. For instance, here's some very, very nice radar bits. One could scratch build a very interesting little sci-fi contraption there. So I don't know how often you do it, or if you do, but it's worth messing around with something in a slightly non-serious way to make whether it be something as trivial as that or something a little bit more substantial. That Citroen with the Blenheim nose is going to be somewhat of a difficult one, but not too bad. The only real difficult part there is in that you don't. I've got pictures of his car, and I'm not trying to represent his exactly. I'm just trying to represent something that looks like a Blenheim nose. So I do have to research the Blenheim nose and make something close enough, which has then been blended into the car shape where the rear half is a Citroen. He didn't use a Citroen. Obviously, his was not an actual car. It was just an electric powered little cart from the base. So yeah, give your thoughts and ideas on that one. Cheers.